All right, everybody, welcome back for another episode of Carson's Conversations. Today it is episode 7, and with episode 7, we come along with a special guest, Ben Calvert. Ben, I've known this guy for a long, long time, dating back to about 3 minutes ago. No, but yeah, Ben, I've known him for a long time. Great guy, and I thought he'd be a great person to come onto the podcast and just talk about what he likes, what he wants to do with his life, and see where it goes. So, Ben, what are you interested in, and what will you do for the rest of your life?
Well, Carson, let me tell you.
Okay.
I'm really interested, pretty much my whole life I've been interested in music from like a really young age. There's a picture of me like framed in the house. I'm like a baby. I just learned to walk, and I walked like right over the piano.
And just like slammed your hands on the piano?
On it.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in music. Kind of, it's been the main focus in my life, especially in school too. Like I've always done really well in music classes. Yeah, that's like my main interest, my main like passion.
So what type of music are you mainly interested in?
Lately I've been interested in classic rock, kind of like Queen, Bowie, like the Beatles, all that kind of stuff. But kind of like through my life, I've also had like classical influences, because I've gone through like the Royal Conservatory program.
Mm-hmm. And so what is that? Because I have no clue what that is.
So it's kind of like the standard for a bunch of different, like there's Royal.
So is it like a high tier? Like it's a really up? Yeah, you got to be really good to get up there.
It goes through grades. So there's grade 1 to 10, and then there's something called the ARCT for piano at least. They have Royal Conservatory exams for a bunch of instruments. Like there's classical guitar, piano, violin, voice. Like there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different tiers and categories for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just finished my grade 8 exam, which gets you a high school credit actually if you have a grade 8.
So you're in grade 11.
Yeah.
And you just finished your grade 8.
Grade 8 piano. Yeah.
That's a little weird.
It's a little weird.
That's
kind
of fun.
Getting used to.
Okay, yeah. So it's like a different kind of, it's like a tiering way of.
Yeah. It's like a standard type of thing.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So it's mainly classical and rock type of music, right? So that's kind of your interest. Do you have like what inspiration do you take from? Do you take any inspiration from modern artists, or is it mainly just back in the past?
I can't say too much about modern artists. Like I haven't delved too far into it. I've mostly been listening to like 70s, 80s, a little bit of 90s, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that's where most of my inspiration comes from.
What type of artists and who specifically?
Lately I've been into the Beatles a lot, kind of listening to their stuff. I've listened to kind of like the classics like Queen, Zepplin, Bowie.
Yep.
Like the big names, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Those are the big boys. The guys
boys,
up there. Yeah, and those are great artists, honestly, just because they bring in so many different things. And for me, Pink Floyd is definitely one of those guys, one of those groups that is just up there because their music is so different from anything else you've heard. And it's considering most of their music came out in the 60s to 70s, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of their music came out there. And that's just like the music coming out then. That's insane for all the sounds that they were able to find and create at that time is crazy. And like has the bands and stuff like that in their different types of music generation, has that ever put any influence onto you, or is there other things that you're more interested in?
I don't know how much of an influence it had on me, but kind of like I find it really interesting to look at how society influenced those bands like at that time, like especially the 60s, a huge wave like the hippie era.
Yeah, for sure.
Woodstock. That was really interesting to me. I kind of take a look at like where we are now as like a culture. Mm-hmm. And I see
how it's kind of affected.
How it's changed.
And there's definitely things like that. And another interesting thing about you to bring up is in grade 11, you and your friends got together because a lot of Ben's friends are very talented when it comes, except Daniel, talented when it comes to playing instruments and stuff like that. So you guys decided to get like a little fundraiser going up together, and you guys acted as Queen, as like not a parody band, but a band that would go up and just kind of recreate as much of their thing. So tell me the story of that and how that really got started, because that's an interesting tale.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, Daniel, he's not the most musical guy.
Yeah, he definitely can't sing.
So
he tries.
He tries his best. It started as a bet. Somebody bet him $20 that he wouldn't go up in front of the whole school.
Mikey Norris?
That might have been Mikey Norris.
Shout out to Mikey Norris.
Mikey Norris, respect, brother.
Racing buddy.
But somebody bet him $20 that he wouldn't go up in front of the whole school and sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wanted the money. He's gonna take the debt.
Yeah.
So he kind of enlisted me. He was like, "I need your help with this. Maybe you could provide some like backup, like piano or something."
Did he cut you in at all? You're like, okay, you can get like
you get
$2. Yeah. 6%.
But that's how it started, and then I kind of talked to them and I thought, like, could we make this something, like, legitimate?
Yeah.
Make it, like, a really interesting performance.
Yeah.
Like, take advantage of the situation.
For sure.
So we got 2 other guys who are really talented musicians.
What instruments did they play? Because you were drums, and no, you were...
I was the keys and
Keys.
the guitar,
Yeah.
So we had a bassist and a drummer. We enlisted them. And then we kind of thought, maybe this could be, like, funny. Like, it could be, like, a parody act, kind of like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But also, could we make something good happen out of it?
Yeah.
So we kind of spread the word a bit. Got some more people interested. Maybe, like, told them to consider donating. And then we decided on a charity. We decided on the Freddie Mercury, like, the Mercury Phoenix Trust.
Yeah.
That's the AIDS charity they set up after he
Yeah.
died. They had a big concert for that too. So it kind of just snowballed.
Just
at that
yeah, it
point.
snowballed from one
into
point. Yeah, I
something.
remember. Someone came. Yeah, it was one of you guys that was asking for a smoke machine.
Yeah, we got a smoke machine.
And I was just like, yeah, I got a smoke machine, man. I can do that. So I just sat in the back, just sitting there, constantly filling it up and just forcing smoke out. It was pretty great. Yeah, but like overall, it was really fun because you got how many kids came in? Like 200.
There was like 250 kids. Yeah, it was a crazy
like
amount.
Like a ton of kids showed up, and like, did you guys end up raising a ton of money, or did that kind of? Was it just more the experience?
A lot of it was experience. I can't remember the actual dollar amount. It was triple digits.
Oh, that's good news.
But I can't remember the actual dollar amount. There's a lot more about the experience. It was really fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think and a lot of kids still talk about it for the goods and the bads of it, but it was an experience just even standing in the back because it was just like seeing if you look off into the side and like there's so many movie shots where you see people that are just like sitting in the back like I want to do that, and I was just like that seemed like so much fun just having the whole kind of and you guys had your crowd in your hands. Oh, yeah. Daniel was just kind of sitting there just like running around talking, saying stuff that made no meaning whatsoever to what was happening, but it's still everybody's so excited to what was happening, and it's just a great thing to see.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And not only music. And you did say you were enlisting people in. So speaking of enlisting, what other things have you enlisted in? Because that's another thing
that's
about
a great
you.
Question. I recently enlisted in the Canadian military as a reservist.
So I remember you took what was it? I always call it the militia, and people laugh at me like it's not really the militia, but is it actually called the militia?
The official name on paper is the militia co-op. So with our school board, yeah.
Yeah. So I've never actually talked to you about it. So what happened like? Because I'm sure there's a ton of people that are interested in it. Because I remember getting Snapchats from you, and you were like, you were holding a gun, or or you had a whole vest on. You're like, this is my new vest, and I'm just like, what? What are you? Where are you? So like, what all went down?
It's you earn a full semester credit. You earn 4 credits, and it's a full semester all day co-op. Mm-hmm. It's not like a rigorous application process, but
it takes you like a boot camp, like you have to do it.
Yeah, there's a boot camp feel to it a little bit, but you usually at least a good like semester before, even the summer before, you want to apply to it. You start applying. It's 2 separate applications. There's one with the school board, and there's one with the actual military. Yeah, the military one takes the longest because they have to run like background checks.
Yeah, for sure. Make sure you're not like a terrorist.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's pretty important. And after all your applications go through, we go to a different high school, like from our home school.
Yeah, does it have to? Oh, it's probably the only school that's running it, right?
Yeah, the one school. It's like the home school, I think, from it. Yeah. You go there for 2 weeks before the actual militia stuff starts. It gives like your paperwork time to process, gets you time to be a little bit more prepared physically and mentally too.
So they do like training things beforehand?
Yeah, they'll do like physical training for the most part. The Army guys will come in and talk to you a little bit like, in the classroom before you start.
A little motivation.
Yeah, they'll give you some pep talks.
So what else did because that's like the more boring side. Was it an interesting course? Was it worth your time?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely.
So what was the stuff that I saw where they gave you like vests and helmets and big things to like guns and
that's the coolest.
That's
stuff,
the cool part. So let's go into the cool stuff
you give a 17-year-old kid like an automatic rifle, he's gonna be pretty happy for that.
It was an automatic rifle?
Yeah.
So did you ever go like full auto on it? Yeah. Okay. So tell me about that.
It was sick.
Tell me about that because that's fun.
The co-op includes your basic training.
Yeah.
And then depending on which trade you choose, either your trades course right after.
So like engineer, medic, that type of stuff.
Yeah. There's like infantry kind of stuff like that. So there's like an infantry, you go right to your trades course.
Yeah.
And I chose to be a signaler, so kind of like.
You just sit there with flags and you just like shoot.
It takes like kind of works on the communication side of it.
Yeah.
So. For me, for my trade, after basic training, I went to basic land training, which is like the soldier stuff, like digging trenches, shooting like big guns.
What were the big guns you shot? Just the Canadian M4?
It was a C9 light machine gun. That was the biggest gun I shot. It was really fun.
That's pretty cool.
It's like got bipod on it.
Yeah. So I shot a while ago when I was in Vancouver. I had my uncle's a police officer, and he took me out to the fire shooting range. And it's just like there's sometimes you get to shoot the guns, and you're just like, whoa, this is weird because it's a complete explosion like right in your hands.
Oh yeah,
and it's just like there's so much energy.
Yeah,
It's so much fun. It's like, so you got to go to the shooting range, a whole bunch of stuff like that. Like, what else happened?
That's the extent stuff. We went to had range days. They take you all over actually. Like I've been to like a bunch of different Canadian Forces bases. I've been to Meaford, Borden. I've been to Cedar Springs, like all over. And that's all part of the co-op. Like they'll take you. You don't have to pay for any of that. You don't have to get yourself there either. They take you. Yeah, there were like range days. Living out in the field was a great experience.
So what do you mean by living out in the field? They just like, hey, this is just they send you out. It's like a CIA drop mission. They run you out into the middle of a field and just leave you.
They drop. So for like your basic training, like your very first course in the military, your basic training course, like kind of like Full Metal Jacket, like that basic.
Hopefully you didn't shoot anybody at the end of it.
They take you as part of the big culmination of the course. They take you into the field for 5 days, and they kind of test you on everything you've learned. Like specifically, they teach you about like navigation using a map and compass, not relying on GPS or anything in case electronics go down. Like big EMP blast, like worst case scenario. Yeah,
that would be a really bad.
That would be.
If you think about like today's day, everything would be like traffic lights would get shut off. That's not even a big thing. I don't know why that came to mind. Traffic lights. No, but like, yeah, there's like all your phones.
Yeah.
Think about all the people in high school that would be beside themselves that they can't post a blackout out on Snapchat. Hey, everybody, look at my big blackout. Everything's dark. We can see the moon. It's the stars. Yeah, that's just insane. So they were just kind of training about like the maps and stuff like
map
that.
and compass, not relying on any like electronic stuff. General like fieldcraft, I guess you call it, like improvised shelters, kind of like digging yourself in, like common sense stuff, like keeping yourself on higher ground so you don't get rained on. What else?
Well, wouldn't you still get rained on if it was on higher?
Yeah, it doesn't run down that time.
Yeah, so like they like, what do you mean by like I know what improvised shelters are, but like what were the extent of that? Like I want to hear, like, go into detail on that because that's something that's pretty interesting too.
So they'll issue you at the beginning. They issue you like a whole bunch of kit. I don't really have time to go through like all of it. There's a lot of stuff they give you.
Talk about the cool ones.
But cool stuff is like a tack vest.
Yeah.
Your Kevlar helmet.
Yeah.
Like goggles.
Yeah.
Goggles. That's kind of cool stuff. Then there's like survival stuff. They issue you something called like a half shelter. So it's basically just a big tarp with a zipper on it.
Yeah.
And
so is it like it's like a pocket kind of thing?
Almost, yeah.
And you just like
stick
like
a burrito. And they kind of teach you how to use that to your advantage, making like lean-to stuff like that.
Yep.
And that's where the improvised shelter stuff comes from. You can kind of have it like angled like half up, and then use like the natural surroundings like trees and stuff on the other side
to tent it up. Yeah. Which that's pretty cool actually.
You can join like more than one together. So the zippers for you can zip like 3 or 4 tarps.
Oh, so it's like if you're with a squad, you can make a big hotel, a big hotel made out of tarp. Yeah. But that's super cool actually. So it was a great experience taking the militia.
Yeah, the militia. Overall it was really fun. It's definitely hard work and.
Was it a lot of like, so the boot camp? Did you have to do like in like the movies that you see? Like, do you have to go climb up all those, climb the ropes, go through like a?
There wasn't an obstacle course now, but there's a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, physical aspect. But also like a bigger part though is the mental aspect. Like you have people like screaming down like at your face every.
So that is real. Yeah,
that is real. That's not a joke.
What's the worst thing they called you?
I don't think I can say it here. We're PG. We're PG here.
Oh, it was that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
PG.
High schools like that?
I guess so. Hamilton's all for it.
You think about the high schools now, they're just like, oh, nope, nothing mean, nothing bad. We keep it safe. Yeah, that's interesting. So are you going to take... I know you like music, and that's something interesting to you, but is the music of a C9 assault rifle better than
music to my ears.
Rock? Is that better music? Like, did you enjoy that experience over the... Because that's two... Like, they're not similar whatsoever, but no. Like... How, like, which did you like better? Which way do you want to head? Like, what's the career that you see in mind?
I mean, like, music to me, I think is always going to be a hobby more than anything. I don't see it taking me anywhere far, like, giving me, like, a stable income. I see more like the military. I've always been, like, interested in the military. Now that I'm actually in there, I see it panning out a lot more than music taking me anywhere than just having fun a weekend or something like that. So
what, I know you're talking about you're doing, like, infantry stuff, but what, is there a certain... like the next guest is coming on, Blake Newbold. He's a big Navy guy. What area are you?
I'm like the land, like the Army.
No, but what do you want to go into? What's the future goal?
Sorry. Eventually, like my end goal is to become like a fully trained Air Force pilot. I want to fly like the big cargo jets they have.
The C-17s.
Yeah, at the Globemasters, stuff like that. The Polaris. Yeah, it's the end goal. I think I'm using like the co-op as a stepping stone, like a resume builder.
Yeah,
I feel like if you have experience already, I feel like they have a better chance of looking at you.
Is there a reserve? There can't be a reserve for the Air Force, is there?
Yeah, there's Air Force, there's Navy.
So there's just reserve for everything?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would that? But so which reserve are you into?
Right now I'm in the Army Reserve, like down in Hamilton, like 31 Brigade. Sorry.
So what's the transition like to go from the Army one to the Air Force in the reserve area?
In the reserve area, there's a lot of paperwork. Obviously, there's a lot of like signing forms coming out.
Yeah, for sure. But what are the requirements that you need? Because do you need to do a whole bunch of like training courses, or can you just be like, oh, I'm in the reserve now? Yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna need to be able to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
There's since it's like entirely different environments. There's a lot. I think they kick you back down pretty much to the start. I'm not too sure, but there's a lot of like new courses you need to take because they definitely don't teach any of that stuff in like the Army Reserve compared to the Air Force.
So have you ever been passionate about like finding a pilot's license before the military or something like that? Did you do ever the trains and stuff like that? Because I've also looked into that because I like planes and like all that stuff. And people that know me well know I got addicted to looking up vintage fighter jets. You can also buy a Corsair for about $4 million. So if anybody's got around $4 million, I would love for you to send it my way because I need to. I'm craving to buy a jet at some point. You can get a whole bunch of like a T-33 Russian training jet for like $80,000, which is ridiculous. So, hey, anybody, I don't need my university tuition paid for. A jet, I can make money somehow. Test joyrides or something like that. $4,000 a ride, we're set. So is like, do you always want to stay in the military? Because I know the military is definitely like a mentally tasking thing. Would you ever want to use that Air Force stuff and transition into, say, being like a Dreamliner?
I do. That's kind of the big plan. Like, I kind of want to use the military to, I guess, like train me to a standard.
It's a big resume builder too, because like if you're a pilot that's been in the military for 5+ years or whatever, you're getting picked up.
It's huge.
Like that, right?
That's the thing. It's like it kind of sets you up for success. It's worth it. Even though you move around a lot, obviously, especially as a pilot. Yeah. You get posted everywhere, but it's definitely something that.
Would you be opposed to like a international?
Definitely not.
Just put you with like.
Put me wherever you
Baghdad,
want.
you're good.
Honestly, toss me like Kabul. I'm good to go.
Yeah, so that's really cool though. At least you know like what your limits are and where you like. Actually, do you have any limits? You'll go wherever, whatever happens, because. Well, you're young, right? So you don't have a family.
I'm not tied down.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That you know of at least. No, but yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different aspects to that. Have you gone through them and figured out this is how far I'd go, or this is where I want to go, and all that type of stuff?
I've sat down. I've thought about it for a while, and I kind of figured that if to be like where I want to be eventually, I'm gonna have to make like sacrifices at some point, like personal sacrifices, and I figured that while I'm young is the best time to do it because I'm not really tied down by, like you said, like a family, financially.
Yeah, that's like that. Similarly. This is what like for the plan for the podcast. I was like, if I'm gotta pay bills, this is not what I want to be doing, because there's nobody paying me any money to do this, right? So it's just like I can't really do anything, so I might as well do it while I'm young. So I definitely know that feeling where you're just like, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to do anything like that. I have no tie downs or anything like that. So why not do it, right? Mm-hmm, yeah. And for the other people that want to go into the military, what do you think is the best way to, if someone's interested in it, what do you think you can do to make them more motivated to join?
Honestly, it's gonna sound like Nike. Just do it. You gotta.
Dude, I had a whole episode of me just going, just do it, just do it. Italian honestly, passion, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, honestly. Just go for it. If you can figure out a way to balance that, so like the reserves is a great option if you're not 100% sold on it. Mm-hmm. But if you're young, you don't have anywhere to go. If you're not considering post-secondary, if you finish post-secondary, honestly, it's not a bad route at all. Everybody looks
and it's great because you get paid. You get paid a lot. And even if you need to go further, as long as you have a high school diploma and a couple other like good marks in that, you can go to the RMC, right? Yeah. So what have you looked into that? Because I'm not really well versed in anything military. I just know the planes.
Yeah, I've considered that as well. I'm not so sure I'm sold on it because RMC is a pretty huge commitment. There's a lot of it's a pretty steep curve basically. So you got to think about like you have to have really high marks, and it's a school like for leaders. It spits out like the next like leaders of the Canadian like military. So
So
you
if
have to
you're
have
not
mega like really high marks, you have to have a huge like extracurricular resume. Sorry.
but that's not something of interest to you. Like you wouldn't really want to, because if you want to go full tilt,
if you want to go full tilt, you go to RMC.
if you want to, because and then you can eventually get a discharge
Mm-hmm.
and do some Top Gun stuff. And well, not yet. We gotta wait for Top Gun 2, and then, and go from there. But there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do, and I think that's if you're up for it, that'd be cool, because you can definitely get your training, and you're definitely going to be put in a good place if you have the RMC training or the schooling.
Everybody looks for that for sure.
Yeah, so you're 100% Air Force. You're not worried about, say, wanting to do infantry, or is infantry still, is it like a 50-50 at this point after the militia training?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a 90-10, 90 Air Force, 10 infantry. Before it was 100, so I'll give the co-op that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really kind of changed your mind. You just don't want to be, rather be flying like 500 miles an hour, kilometers an hour. Yeah. That's also cool.
I'll fly the infantry wherever they want to go.
Exactly, you'll be in the big. that is really cool to think about, that you're just going to be flying around in your jet, moving other tanks, anything like that. That's just super interesting and super cool. So that's definitely one of your big,
that's
100%
the
passions.
Biggest aspiration, yeah. Right now.
So is there anything like after that? What do you have? So we were talking about earlier, like the airlines.
Oh yeah.
Which area would you want to be? The cargo one again, staying with cargo, or do you want to fly people around? Or is that too big of a commitment to?
I'm not sure at this point. Cargo sounds pretty enticing. Cargo pilots make, I'd say it sounds kind of greedy, but they make really good money. And you don't have to deal with money.
Money's a big thing in everybody's life.
But yeah, they make really good money. You don't have to worry about dealing with people.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like that's a big thing for a lot of pilots before they get onto, like flying cargo. You don't have to worry about anybody else. If you mess up, that's you and maybe $100,000 plus worth of material lost, or there's 186 people on your plane and they all die. Like that's definitely something scary to think about. So you want to stick with, say, cargo and not have to worry about that, or would you ever? Because I know with people you get paid more.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that? Would you be quote unquote not really greedy, but would you move to? That's a terrible thing to say.
The money side of things, no.
Would you move to something that's more financially stable and more fulfilling?
Yeah, I mean, you hear a lot of like horror stories about like aircraft carrying people, like you said, they all crash and like a lot of people die, but that's a very, very small statistic.
So rare. Like
it's a really rare thing.
And that's what I have to tell the people that are scared of flying. There's nothing to be like worried about. Just make sure you're not in a place with a lot of birds. You're fine.
Yeah,
that's like a large percentage of all the planes that go down. It's just like a bird strike on landing or takeoff.
Mm-hmm. But I've definitely considered it. It seems like the option that I want to take right now, but I'm still keeping cargo as like a very real possibility.
Mm-hmm. But it's also like, what's the difference? Cargo, people.
Yeah, you're still fine.
Yeah, same thing. Just if you crash anyways, most pilots aren't really going to survive, so you might as well. Another thing is you don't really hear about a lot of cargo planes going down, so maybe
nobody cares though.
Got me there, man. I don't know. They could. Maybe nobody cares about cargo planes. Yeah. So we've hit all the polls. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's you. So music, no music.
Just a hobby. Just a hobby.
All right, guys. On that note. On that depressing note.
Yeah, wow.
Well, I'm going to have to close this off today on episode 7. Thank you for coming out. Do you have anything you need to plug? Any events? Anything you're doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Anytime. We'll definitely have you on again if you in the future when you're a pilot and you can fly me around. Maybe take me out for a spin in one of the planes.
Yeah, maybe.
So definitely, if you guys want to join the military and you have ever thought about it, just do it. As Ben would say, as Nike would say, just do it. That's another thing. That's all they say now. But yeah, guys, enjoy it. Figure out what you want to do at an early age and get it done. Thanks for coming for another episode of Carson's Conversations. Please watch the other ones if you haven't so far. Follow me on Instagram at CarsonGRE, and the rest of those things are linked down in the description. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Thank you. Have a good one.